What I am about to say will surely ruffle some feathers. Listener discretion is advised. It's like I just went. No, okay. Hey, y'all, welcome back to my channel. Now, what I'm about to say probably will bother some people, but it has to be said. Um, when I get on here and I say romantic love is a scam or romantic love is a delusion, people always get upset with me, particularly men, but women do too because, men are upset because they don't want to lose access to as many women as they can. And women get upset because we are threatening their fairy tale that they have in their heads, okay? But the show Catfish is literally one of my favorite guilty pleasures because it proves the very thing that a lot of y'all do not want to face or admit. And that is people are delusional. Love is not a magical destiny or this like you become one and things are perfect. It's not that at all. It's literally a mindset and it's a story that we tell ourselves. Catfish, the TV show, exposes that in such a brutal way because if a fake profile can make you fall in love, then what exactly were you in love with? It wasn't a person, it was a fantasy and it was your fantasy. This show proves it. If y'all have never watched Catfish, please go back and watch it. And I would say start with the earlier episodes, like from the very beginning. I'm sorry to say this, but I am thoroughly entertained. When I tell you thoroughly entertained, and I'm sorry, I know people are going to be like, oh, people's hearts are being played with. How can you find that to be entertaining? It's entertaining as fuck. Yeah, listen, argue with your mama about that. But it's very entertaining. In all the years that I've watched it, and I haven't watched every episode, every time I watch it, there's new episodes that I haven't seen, right? Every time I watch it, I literally am thoroughly entertained. Out of all the episodes I've watched so far, I can honestly say that there's only been less than a handful of people that I actually felt sorry for. Literally. The other 99%, zero sympathy. All caps, zero in all caps. Zero sympathy. Because I want women, especially women, to stop focusing on trying to find the one and find true love because what y'all end up doing is wasting your good years. You waste your life being traumatized and abused for nothing. You get nothing in the end but heartbreak, trauma, needing to sit on somebody's couch. A lot of women never recover from the things that men put them through. And of course, we have the ones that have gone to an early grave because they love somebody. In psychology, it's called projection. Like romantic love is literally a delusion, but they call it projection in psychology. You don't actually fall in love with a person. You fall in love with the meaning that you attach to that person, the stories you make up in your mind. That's why people say that they, quote, fall in love with strangers online, complete strangers. People will stay with partners that treat them horribly. People will imagine a future with somebody that they barely fucking know. It is not the person, it is a fantasy and it's a role that they're playing for you in your own mind. Seriously. Romantic love is basically falling in love with a character that you created. In the show Catfish, exposes this perfectly. I wish I could have included clips from that show, but obviously I can't for copyright. They would demonetize my video and I can't do that. But please, y'all, I urge y'all, that is my recommendation for the week. Start watching episodes of Catfish if y'all haven't already. When I call people delusional, people get offended. Okay, delusion is really just hope. You're hoping somebody is the one. People will get on these shows or get on these dating apps out of loneliness. They just want to be with somebody. And then when they find out that the person is not what they thought, there's this like ego investment. They feel like I came this far, I can't leave with nothing. In watching the show Catfish, I have literally watched episodes where the person who was doing the catfishing, when they got exposed and confronted, when I tell you they had like a sociopathic type of response, like, I don't care. It was fun for me. Why are y'all still here? Is this over? Can I go back in the house? I was taking a nap or playing 2K or whatever. When I tell you they had no emotion, and the person who got catfished would sit there and still try to keep the conversation going. It's like the person looked you in your eyeballs and said, I know I hurt you and I don't care. And they're still trying to like find closure and all that stuff. It's that ego investment. Like they feel like now I have to try to make this work because I've invested time and energy and there is no way that this is all fake. And people will literally ignore the red flags. And these red flags don't be little tiny little red flags. They're literally billboards. They're like a flashing red light before a cliff. Like romantic love only survives when you don't look too closely. It makes me think about those women who were going viral on TikTok last year and like earlier this year, where they were saying that the only reason why most marriages last or relationships last as long as they do is because of the woman. The woman is constantly turning the other cheek. The woman is constantly letting her man get away with cheating or disrespecting her in some way. When women know their worth and they put their foot down immediately, like 99% of relationships end within the first few weeks or a few months after the honeymoon phase. Like they would all end after the honeymoon phase, literally. But they go on and they get dragged out because of the woman, because the woman is constantly turning the other cheek, or, you know, she found stuff in his phone before, so now she doesn't look in it because if I don't look and I don't find anything, then nothing's happening. You know what I mean? That's the only reason why it gets drawn out as much as it gets drawn out. That's it. That's the only reason. Women are trained to be delusional. The patriarchy literally trains women to be delusional. It trains you to see marriage as a flex. Relationships mean you're successful. If you got married, you're winning. You're the wife, you're the one with the ring, you're winning. You see male attention as validation. You know, you fear being alone. And I'm not trying to be funny. Women have no business fearing being alone. Like that is a man's problem. And men make it y'all problem. When they say you're going to die alone with your cats, they're literally projecting. And a lot of y'all fall for that shit. If you can't be alone, like I said many times before, you don't like yourself. You don't love yourself that much or at all. Because how do you not want to be with you? That is crazy. Like, every time I think about how crazy that is, my mind gets blown all over again because it's like, what? To an introvert? We're like, what do you mean you don't like spending time with yourself? What kind of life is that, right? It's so weird. You are trapped in this mindset. And most relationships are built on assumptions too. That's another thing. Y'all be assuming things. Y'all be having these fairy tales. I remember when I was watching Power Book 2, the one with Mary J. Blige and Tariq going to college. And I remember Mary J. Blige's character told her daughter, and I can't think of her name right now in the show, but she's like, men don't fall in love with you. They fall in love with how you view them, right? The way, so like if a man thinks you're crazy about him, he's in love with that idea of you being crazy about him. That's why men can move on from woman to woman. That's why they can bury their wife in June and be remarried by July, like to a whole nother woman, because it's an ego thing for them. They fall, quote unquote, and I'm using love loosely, they fall in love with the idea of you being crazy about them. It's not you, right? And that's why it's easy for them to cheat, because as many women as they can get to feel like that towards them, they feel like they won. So they're not attached to you at all, like almost ever. And when you think they're attached to you, it's not really that. It's possessiveness and it's ego. It's never really about the woman when it comes down to that. People don't love you and they don't love who you are. They love who they think you are, what you represent to them, how you make them feel. That is the key. That's why, like, when people, quote, fall out of love, that's when the reality shows up. If you really think about it, it's like, oh, it was so beautiful in the beginning. It was wonderful at first. And then he changed. He really didn't change. His true nature came out because y'all were just in a honeymoon phase. People can cheat while they still claim to love their partner. And I'm sorry, like I always say, my favorite thing to say, you couldn't pay me Jeff Bezos money to convince me that a man is in love with somebody, or a woman either, and they're cheating on them. They don't love you, and you don't love them if you're constantly doing things that you know is going to hurt that person. You're not in love with them at all, and you don't love them. People can change partners and then repeat the exact same shit. It's literally not personal, it's psychological, it's a mindset. When you look at the choices that women make when it comes to love, the choices usually harm them, don't it? Women lose time, sometimes their money, career momentum, right? They give up their careers, they lose emotional energy, their physical safety is in question. And meanwhile, men gain everything from women. They got them a caretaker, a slave, they got free labor, stability, a longer lifespan because we know husbands live longer than single men. Those studies keep coming out. Free household management, somebody to raise his kids. Like, the love delusion is expensive and women are the ones to pay the bill. So I want you guys to really, I can talk about this for hours. Like, we can be here for hours talking about all the ways women lose when they love a man and all the ways that men gain from that. But I'm going to end it here because I don't want this video to be too long. Please, y'all, my recommendation, if y'all have not watched Catfish, go watch Catfish. I started watching it again the last couple days. I go through Catfish binges like probably every other month, and I'm on it again. Like, I'm on Catfish again. So when I tell y'all this shit is I'm sorry. If you've ever been catfished and your heart was broken, I promise you, I'm not pointing my finger and laughing at you. I'm laughing at the situation. I'm laughing at human behavior because this shit is like mind boggling. I want everybody to really stop and think about how romantic love is a scam and it's a delusion. Women are out here giving up their time, effort, energy, body, health, all of that for something that a man told them they're thinking in their heads. I want y'all to really think about it in that way. A man has all these ideas and so-called love in his head, and therefore he wants you to give up your career. He wants you to have his babies. He don't care if you almost unalive giving birth. I love you, therefore you need to have all these babies for me. I said I love you, therefore you need to give up your life and your career. I love you, so you need to give up your friends. But I'm in love with you, so you're supposed to be making all of these sacrifices for me and cooking and cleaning and getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning and making me a sandwich. Think about it from that lens. Because of what delusions they have in their heads, y'all are literally giving up real life, tangible things for something that's in somebody else's mind. The universe is constantly going to keep punishing women until women stop getting in the way of these men's destiny or their karma, if y'all want to call it that. Romantic love is not the thing that fails women. The delusion is what fails you. The show Catfish is the proof. If you can fall in love with the profile, you were never in love with them. You were in love with your own imagination. Every time you allow yourselves to fall in love with men, you keep finding ways to pay debts that don't even belong to you. You're paying their debt. So y'all, a lot of women take up for their husbands. They pretend for their husbands. They clean up their messes. They fix their men's finances, and they stabilize their emotions, and they cover up for their failures, and y'all be raising kids that these men begged for but don't raise. You're manifesting for them, and what you're really doing is defending them from their consequences. And every time, as a woman, every time you step in to protect a man from his fallout, you inherit the fallout. You block his so-called karma, and so it hits you instead. And I'm going to leave it there. Leave your comments below. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about love being a delusion. What do y'all think about this? Because I'm telling y'all, this romantic love shit got women in a chokehold, and this is the one area that ruins women's lives. I be seeing women, they are beautiful, they're in shape, they're healthy, they got their lives together, they got money, they got a career, and the one area in all of these women's lives that fails, that is in shambles, is always the men. The men they choose, the men that they're married to, the men they have kids with. It's always a man. Please let go of this fairy tale for the sake of you and your children and whoever else, okay? But I'm going to end it here for real now. Leave your comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
All together, girls. 1, 2, 3. these men on the internet. They don't know what they want, but they will see what they can get. Oh, go and waste your one and only precious life while pretending not to have a full receding hairline. So keep your eyes on his hairline and your hand on your drink. For all you know, he is a psychopath. He'll leave you on red and he won't care